Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo! Hump day!
What is up, everybody? The video is back. It's the Season Eve Hangout, and I'm joined by two very special guests, world's greatest co-host, and still in his fourth grade room, Michael Basham.
How's it going? You know, I'm just sitting over here with the essentials the night before the season starts. I got lube and Kleenexes, baby, going to town over here. Start of the fantasy football season tomorrow night. Couldn't be more excited. I'm roster baiting to the extreme, so I'm ready to get this baby underway.
Very nice. And roster baiting to Eli and Joe Flacco.
That's right.
Next, we've got Jay Miller. Thanks for joining us. As usual, the first person to jump at the opportunity, and he's going to drop some sage wisdom today, I think.
Oh, just wait for it, man.
That's what I like to hear. So I think we're just going to get into some discussion points and start talking about the top threes for different topics, and just kind of roll right into some talk about the season. So let's start it off with a really hot button issue. Who are the top three managers we're rooting for? And rather than list them off, we're just kind of going to discuss it and then come to a consensus list out of the three of us.
Okay.
So obviously, we don't really want to pick ourselves unless it's an obvious option, which I am not. Nobody's rooting for me.
Yeah.
Hardly even myself.
That's boring.
Yeah. So Basham, who do you think we should be rooting for?
All right, the first person that I'm going to throw out there that I'm rooting for, I'm just going to lay this out there. I'm not rooting for anybody in my division. I'm a competitor. I'm not rooting for anybody in my division. I'm just going to say that first and foremost. The first person that I'm rooting for, the person that I'm rooting for the most this season, I think it's everybody's sweetheart in our league, Nick Clark. I mean, it's a no-brainer decision. He's a good guy. He's the butt end of all the jokes in the league. He comes to drafts unprepared sometimes. He comes in, he drafts players that are injured. He drafts players that aren't even on rosters. I don't even know what the kid thinks half the time. But this year, he got a good draft. I like his team going into the season. We both predicted in last week's show a pretty good finish for Nick Clark as long as he doesn't screw it up. So I'm rooting for this kid to have a good season.
Oh, that's really cute. But you know what? I'm not really rooting for Nick Clark. You know, I kind of am on one hand, but playing devil's advocate, how can we root for somebody that just doesn't seem like they put the effort out there as much as some of the rest of us? I want to root for someone that lives and dies and breathes wins and losses, like maybe a Catco. Even, you know, to Jay to some extent, but for whatever reason, I just have trouble rooting for Jay. But, I mean, Nick Clark, he's not even on the message board talking trash. Granted, the group me really does seem to be his entryway into the...
Yeah, he's really opened up in the group me.
Yeah, the group someone involved into the banter, and I think this could be a big year for him, but I said it last year, and I will say the league would be about 100 times more interesting if Nick Clark was a competitor.
True.
So, Jay, do you think Nick Clark should be the number one person on our list to root for?
I tell you what, I think Nick Clark has to be number one on the list. I mean, the only other person I could put in the same category with Nick Clark would be Matt Bay, and we all know I ain't rooting for Matt Bay anytime soon. And nobody else is going to root for Matt Bay anytime
Yeah, why
soon.
would we root for Matt Bay? I see them very differently.
Yes.
Exactly. I just think that way because they're in their fifth year in the league. Neither of them have made it to the playoffs yet. So you got to give the bump to one of them, and we all know it ain't going to be Matt Bay. I think 9 out of 10 people in the league will agree to that, and the only other person who won't agree to it is Matt Bay.
I see them like this, because the reason you're bringing Matt Bay up is because they've both been pitiful. But Matt Bay is kind of like the pitiful, or Nick Clark rather, is kind of like the pitiful dog with like maybe one eye or a broken leg that you think in the corner of the shelter. And it's like something about it you feel bad for. It seems like a really nice dog, and you kind of want to take it home. Matt Bay is the same shitty, gnarly dog, but he's mean. He's like in the corner over there, and he's just so unlikable. Why would you ever root for the mean dog? So typically they're the same, but you know, mentally, the one just has a big bark and no bite, and that's Matvey. And
Yep.
I prefer the quiet one.
I agree.
Yep.
Analogy. So who else is in the discussion? Because for me, I think it's Katko.
Yeah.
And I also think it's Jeff.
Those are my three. So I'm gonna lay a few things down on Katko. His team right now is so banged up and disoriented. I was like looking through teams today, and all I could see were red O's, Q's, P's, SSPDs, IRs on Katko's roster, and I just feel so bad for the kid because he comes into the draft so prepared and so ready, and his team right now is just like almost in shambles in terms of their health and, you know, being cut by teams. And I mean, he has David Cobb on his roster still, unless he made a move today, did he?
I don't think he did.
He still
Yeah.
has him.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what's going on with Katko over there. And then Jeff, he's also on my list. He's number 3. Yeah, I mean, last year's rookie. You know, I hope that he gets a taste of success this year because he does put in some work. And then he's got a little bit of banged up players on his team with McCoy, lost Kate Benji, lost Kevin White. So it would be kind of cool if he could dig himself out of. It's not a hole, but you know, it's not the ideal situation for somebody coming into their second year.
Right. Just real quick, let's hit on some of the other options. Polino, any sympathy for him? You rooting for Polino at all?
No.
None. Me either. I mean, a little bit, but not that much. And how about Billy? Anyone rooting for Billy?
No.
Me either. And you know what I think makes Billy even less that I want to root for him?
Why is that?
He uses a cheater draft software.
For $30.
Yeah, for $30. I mean, first of all, he didn't even try and hide it, so all the more power to him. I respect that. But, you know, that takes a little bit of the shine off what seems to be Billy's brilliance sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think those really are the options. Maybe Sterner, but he hasn't given me a reason to really feel for him.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not rooting for you.
Right.
So we're probably forgetting someone, but I think that's a pretty clear top 3.
Yeah. Yeah, that is.
All right, let's go to the next one. How about people we're rooting against? Obviously, I'm probably number 1 in the discussion, but number 2, I think number 2 really is Matvey. I don't know why, because
This is easy for me. You're an easy number 1 just because you're my rival. You're the champ. You got to get taken down a level here. And then Matvey, I mean, he just made me so mad last year. If you remember watching our talk shows, every week I had something to say about Matvey, whether it's crying about defensive scoring, whether it's anything. The kid just irks me whenever it comes to fantasy football. So I feel like he's almost like my second rival whenever it comes down to playing. I just always want to beat Matvey and just put him in his place.
I think I agree, but maybe if Matvey has another pathetic season this year, and
Yeah.
he really does try hard, he makes some good moves, just hits a run of bad luck, maybe next year he's a sympathetic figure and someone we want to root for. But
I guess it's possible.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think.
For me, the other person right up there is you, and I think a lot of the league feels the same. I don't think anyone really is rooting for you.
Probably not.
But
I wouldn't think.
if we have to go out on a limb a little bit more,
Billy.
That's who my third is.
Billy. Billy, that bastard, had to bring JD into our division to create the gauntlet. And he got rid of Nick Clark, who is almost a guaranteed win every year on everybody's board, even though this year his team looks very formidable.
He got rid of Jeff.
I thought he got rid of Nick Clark.
No, he got rid of
No,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Either way, an unproven second-year player, I mean, with an injury-filled lineup for right now, I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
But, I mean, that has to make the whole other division like Billy.
Yeah. See, my thought process was different on Billy. He wants to be this dominant figure in our league, but he just flies so far under the radar. He's too quiet for me. I want somebody that's going to speak up. Like, if you want to be a dominant figure, like JD, you're a dominant figure in our league. You come on the talk show, you lay down some smack. I come on the talk show, I lay down some smack. Jay gets on the talk show. He broke the points record last year. He made the playoffs. He gets on and talks some smack. Billy, show your face. Show your face, man. Come on.
Here's what I think about. I actually forgot what I was going to say. Let me pick it back up. Fuck. Okay, someone else go. I'll think of it again.
Well, those are my three. Matt Vey, JD, Billy.
Those are my 3 too. Maybe Matt Vey's number 1 for me in front of JD, just because JD just goes about his business and, just runs the train. But I think Matt Vey's my number 1.
Yeah. Is it interesting that I'm such a lovable manager but such a hateful owner?
Yeah.
I think my thing with Billy is if he had brought me into – this is what I wanted to say. If he had brought me into the division and was on here like talking all kinds of trash, saying, I made this move for this reason, I'm just going to take the division, JD's not even going to make the playoffs. If Billy was coming out here trying to act like a Chip Kelly genius or Bill Belichick genius, I'd kind of be rooting for him just for being so brash about it.
Right.
But at this rate, it's like, I don't know, we'll talk about this later, but that's one of the biggest storylines this season. Hands down.
Yep.
So, I don't think Bill did it on purpose, but kudos to him for creating such an facet of the league that had never really been explored before, a divisional trade.
True. Very true.
All right, let's bump to another topic. Top 3 managers most likely to fuck up their team. This is one near and dear to our hearts because it's pretty much one of the constant topics on our show.
Yeah. My number 1, I think it's once again a no-brainer. Nick Clark. I mean, just because he's Nick Clark, just because he does it every single year, he's going to mess up his team, especially now that he has a good one. Forget about it. It's done. He's got so much firepower to trade away now. It used to be he had like 1 or 2 players that he could just trade away, and then his season was over. Now he has a full roster full of talent. Forget about it. It's done. He's gonna be trade happy like it never before.
I like it, and I like your enthusiasm for it. I think the one thing with him is maybe he just never really cared because he didn't feel like his team was that good. I mean, he cared, but like maybe he's going to take it to the next level and be that much more careful this season. Like, do you think that now that he thinks his team's a legitimate contender, he could be more careful?
It's possible, but I don't know.
I texted JD, I texted you yesterday with when I texted him about Steve Smith, and he said if he was going to get rid of Steve Smith, his wide receiver 4, he needed at least Latavius Murray. I was astonished.
I meant to answer you there, but I had a really busy day, and I think basically what he's saying is if he's going to trade Steve Smith, he wants a running back, and he doesn't want any of your running backs worse than your running back 4. If he thinks Alfred Morris is better, I don't know. So, I mean, it might not be that he thought that was realistic, just that that's what it would take if he wanted to get a running back.
He did text me about an hour later saying he'd obviously give something more for Latavius Murray, but I just said we're probably way too far off if that's going to be, I think he was like his 12th or 13th round pick for my 4th round pick. I was like, you have to throw a lot to me.
If he got Steve Smith in the 12th or 13th round, that's such a steal.
I think he did, honestly. I can check.
Yeah, if my computers were working properly, I'd pull the draft board up. But all right, so who else is a good candidate, Badger?
I also think that Matt Vey is going to be a good candidate. I mean, if you look at his roster,
it's possible that Matt Vey already has.
Yeah, that's possible as well. I mean, you look at his roster, he's got 2 rookie quarterbacks. He's going to have to start Mariota or Winston every single week. I mean, that's just not a good situation to be in. His running backs are weak, if you ask me, too. Melvin Gordon, another rookie, and then Ellington down in Arizona. It's just a bad situation for him. And he's so hard-headed whenever it comes to trading players. He values certain players so much, and he gets this weird attachment to them that it's hard to make trades with him. So I think he's going to mess up his team in some way, shape, or form.
So he was on your list.
He was not on my list. My list did not consist of Matvey because I think it's going to be difficult to dish a whole bunch of rookies. Like JD said in the last talk show, he does have a lot of rookies on his team. I mean, not everybody's going to be all gung-ho about, trading for a Mariota in order to get a better, quarterback or something like that. That's why I kept him off my list.
So it's not that you don't think Matvey has the ability to fuck up his team. It's that you don't think he has the tools to do it, which is almost even worse than the list.
I don't know. I looked too. Nick Clark got Steve Smith in the 13th round.
Wow. That's definitely a steal. I took Perriman before Steve Smith, and that obviously didn't work out at all.
Yeah.
How about Katko? Do we think Katko's a good candidate, or do we still think Katko's a very wise manager?
I had him on my list, but I scratched it out, and I replaced him with Matvey.
Gotcha.
See, I have Katko as my number one. I think given the circumstances that Katko's put himself in by starting Jay Cutler as his number two, by losing Arian Foster through, even a quarter of the year, I think Katko could really put himself in a hole, especially if he goes down the first few weeks.
Yeah, I think Katko knows he's going to have to make at least one big deal. But, I mean, to some extent, you have to go for it. You have to make the risky deal to win the league when it's this good nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing if you screw your team up, but you don't want to do it early in the year and become a laughingstock. But if you do it early in the year and your team gets that much better, then you look like a genius. So it's a fine tightrope to walk, and that's why we judge people on a basis of multiple years in a row, not just one.
Yep.
I think who else? I mean, I think Jay's always in contention after the Tannehill trade last year. Really going out there and targeting Matt Asiata and Danny Woodhead. I'm wondering if Basham can pull one over on him again. You've got Woodhead stopped. I'm also, though, wondering if Basham is someone who can screw his team up, because he's in the same boat as Katko, where he definitely is going to have to make a move.
Yeah.
No doubt. So I think I even deserve to be on the list a little bit, because it's clear that every season I have to make some sort of move, and one of these days it could backfire.
I mean, it's bound to.
I don't know about that.
I have one of the people that I was thinking about was possibly Polino. If he starts going in the hole and he doesn't dish a quarterback soon enough, which I think he will, but if he does hold on to him just, for a little bit too long, he could really hurt himself at running back.
I agree with that. I also have him on my list.
That's interesting. So he could hurt his team by inaction rather than by doing something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Well, I don't know that we came up with a consensus list, but I think we can move right along. How about the 3 managers/teams most likely to break the scoring record? It's happened multiple times in the last couple of years, and I think it's probably a good bet to happen again.
All right, well, I'll jump in here first. I think one person that could break the scoring record would be Polino himself. I think Polino has the tools that if he did make a trade for a top-notch running back, trading away one of his quarterbacks, he still has the tools at wide receiver and at quarterback, since he has 3 top 10 guys.
I agree. Polino is also my number one. He's got dominant quarterbacks. He's got a top 3 wide receiver core, in my opinion. He just needs to fill that running back group out, and he has a top quarterback to do that. Definitely Polino is my number one.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with Polino. I think number 2, I'm going to slot myself right in there. Was I on your list?
You were like a straggler on my list. I have you written down. You're like kind of like a tie for 3.
Okay, well, then I have a dark horse selection here, and that's Sterner.
Yeah.
He didn't even make my list.
I don't really love Sterner's team, but I think it's possible that Kaepernick and Breeze could end up being a good quarterback pair. And his receivers are unbelievable, which is what let Jay break the point scoring record last season.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of Jay's team wasn't that great, but the running backs and quarterbacks, like average groups, can still put up good numbers. But if you have an elite group of wide receivers to add to that, it gives you a solid chance. So, for whatever reason, I think Sterner has a dark horse chance to do that.
I agree there. His wide receivers are just too good to even keep him out of the conversation. And plus, with Crowell now being the number 1 guy, hand over heels in Cleveland, I think he has a really good chance.
Well, just wait till Ray Rice gets signed.
I can see you guys' points with that, but how about Billy? I think his quarterbacks are primed for some career years between Tannehill and Roethlisberger. His wide receiver core is also solid. He just, once again, the running backs seem to be a trend here. He needs to solidify that running back group, and I think that he could do that. So I got Billy in my top 3.
I like that a lot. I think Billy's probably ahead of me, actually, now that you say that. So I think it's probably Polino, Billy, and then I'd still put myself. But can we safely rule out Basham?
I think anybody in the gauntlet has a chance at it just because all the managers are so active and, people have tools to make trades to get somebody. They know how to wheel and deal to get there. So I think everybody in the gauntlet has a shot.
I don't know. Basham has Eli and Flacco. And I don't even know. Who's your third?
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. Yeah, Basham doesn't have a chance. I can rule him out right now.
Man, that's rough.
Speaking of new feature for the talk show this year, we're going to have the Elimination Chamber. And
dang.
And in week 2, we're going to declare one team that is definitely not going to make the playoffs. And I think we'll probably do another one in 4, another one maybe in 6, and then 8, 9, 10, maybe. I don't know. We'll spread it out.
Okay.
But as a talk show, Badger, me and you, and perhaps Jay if he's on every week or close to them, we'll discuss and we'll have to come up with the kind of like eliminating a team from the playoff pool.
Okay.
We have to be bold even before it happens,
Right.
So I like the concept. They do it on the Around the NFL talk show. So
It's very interesting.
I think we're gonna pull it off this year.
I like it.
Next, top 3 most glaring needs around the league, and I'm just going to throw out Basham's quarterback. That's kind of the obvious one that inspired the topic. So what else do we got?
I also have myself at number 1, and then I also have Matt Vey, his quarterbacks. I mentioned this before. He's got Newton, who, his stock's dropping fast ever since K. Benji went down. And then Mariota and Winston as your second option. 2 rookie quarterbacks. It doesn't matter how talented you are. You're a rookie in the NFL. It's rough, and quarterback is the most difficult position to play. So I got Matt Vey as my number 2.
All right.
I would have to say that my number 2 would have to be Polino at running back. Granted, he has the tools. His running back position would be my number 1 glaring need. Or my number 2, my fault.
After Basham?
Yeah, after Basham's quarterback.
How about Sterner at running back?
Sterner's my number 3.
I'm trying to pull his running backs up here, but I always forget what his team name is.
His third possible option, his running back 3 options, whether it's Crowell or Sankey. That's his running back 3 right now.
Right, and like I said, I don't like Forte this year. I do like Ivory, but
yeah,
maybe it's not quite as bad as I thought. But I think, how about Katko at wide receiver is another one I noticed. Granted, wide receiver is probably the easiest position to replace, but not necessarily elite wide receiver. That might be harder to get mid-season than elite running back.
I agree with that.
Because elite running backs appear on the waiver wire just when a backup gets the job. But it's really tough to get an elite wide receiver in the middle of the year, even in a trade.
Yeah, I agree. I think number 3's up in the air for like a group of people. You could say Katko at wide receiver. You could say me at wide receiver. You could say,
Jeff.
You could say Matt Vay at running back. Even we don't know what Melvin Gordon's going to do. I mean,
yeah, I like that call too. That's definitely something. Matt Vay at running back, especially if Trey Mason loses the job. I guess Gurley now is going to be out like the first month or so, it sounds like. But when he comes back, who knows? And then, I mean, Matt Vay has these running backs stashed, but who he's probably never even seen play a snap, like Cameron Artis-Payne. I don't even know if that dude's good. I mean, Benny Cunningham, who we've seen play and wasn't that good. So I don't know. Very, very interesting situation there. There's definitely many needs to start the year, and everyone seems to be quite patient. I've been trying to work up a trade myself, and but everyone seems happy to head into the year with their teams, and this might be the least action we've ever seen in a preseason.
I can agree with that statement for sure.
For better or for worse, I do not know.
Yeah.
And I'm surprising because it's been such a long preseason for us. I mean, we drafted, 6 weeks before season even started, and the only movement we've really seen has been the big AP for AB trade.
Yeah, I mean, we almost always draft that early, if not earlier, but I know what you mean. Definitely not an ideal time to do it. So let's move on. What are the top 3 matchups we're looking forward to in Week 1? I think there's a clear, far and away number 1 matchup. And I'll just let Basham go ahead and tell us.
Okay. Well, I don't really have these in any order necessarily, all right? But I'll give you my first matchup that I'm intrigued by this week. And it's Polino versus Jeff. You got somebody at the top of the power rankings who everybody's putting their money on in Polino. And then you got Jeff, who nobody is too fond of going into the season. But I really think that Jeff can win this week, especially if Joyke Bell doesn't go for Polino this week. Even though both of Polino's quarterbacks have really juicy matchups, Brady versus Pittsburgh, Romo versus the Giants, I really think that Jeff could pull it off this week. So that's my first matchup.
Oh, that's interesting. I like it.
Yeah.
I want to comment on that. Did you guys see Polino isn't even starting his first pick in the draft? He's not even starting Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's probably the best play.
Yes.
You say that, yeah, but I mean, it's Andrew Luck. It was the first pick in the draft. How do you not play your first-round pick?
Because the 2 defenses that his quarterbacks at home are playing are 2 of the worst in the league. However, Tom Brady might not come out on fire. They might just run the ball, make it a super boring game just to get back at the NFL. I don't know. I mean, it's not like they need to throw the ball against the Steelers.
Right.
So that would be the easy thing to do.
The thing is, who is their starting running back even this week? They dropped Jonas Gray. LeGarrette Blount is suspended. They're going to run it with Brandon Bolden.
Yeah.
And Dion Lewis and Travaris Cadet. I mean, they have a ton of running backs that can go.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not worried about that at all. I think their offensive line does have some concerns, but, I mean, they're playing the Steelers, who's not really going to take advantage of that. So,
Yeah.
should be interesting. And I guess it probably is going to come down to what wide receiver 3 Polino goes with, I think. Because it could be I don't know, Bolden. He has Bolden in right now, but he's sitting Andre Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald. Even Eddie Royal has kind of a sweet matchup against Green Bay.
Yeah.
And Darren McFadden is a guy that he might have to consider starting, which would be super.
Right.
So it could come. It definitely is going to come down to lineup decisions, which I think we're probably going to have to scrap as a segment this year.
Yeah.
Just didn't get the ratings that we were hoping for.
No, not at all.
Okay, so let's get real now. The actual number one matchup is myself and Billy.
I didn't even have you on my list.
You got to be kidding me. Billy just picked me. Complete insult. Picked me to be in his division. I mean, pretty much called out the 3-time champion. Said, this cupcake Jeff is better than you. After he saw me draft my team. Said, I don't want Jeff. I want JD in my division. So first of all, I'm pissed. Second of all, Billy could end up looking like a fool in week 1 already. And I mean, this is the gauntlet. Literally every game is important.
Yep.
Right out of the gates. I don't want to get one game behind Billy, and then I'm probably also going to be, I'm going to be one game behind Bajimer Sterner, and then the odd man out is Jay versus Catco, and I think Jay probably has a leg up.
Yeah.
So if I lose, I'm behind 3 teams most likely. At least 2 of my big-time rivals.
Yep.
So, and plus I think me and Billy have some of the biggest firepower in the entire league. I mean, we've got 4 good quarterbacks really going up in this matchup. And Billy now has Tevin Coleman starting. He's probably going to gamble, throw him in there. I might have to use Amir Abdullah, another exciting rookie. And the receiving cores are both very good. And then we have Gronk, and he has baby Gronk. So, I don't know. I think this is an awesome matchup. It's projected to be super close. So much is already on the line. That's easily my prime matchup of the week.
That's definitely my number one. I think that's the concise number one based on everything that's happened so far. Pardon?
The consensus number one, or the
I think so. What did I say? Did I say concise? My bad.
I was just wondering if you meant something else.
No, my bad. Consensus number one. But the question for me is, who's number 2? I don't think that Polino and Jeff is. I think it's got to be Nick Clark and Matvey.
I like that because one of them is just going to start the season off back in misery. Also, they played back-to-back weeks last year, and Nick Clark, his season could have been different if he didn't get that cheap loss to Matvey in the second of those back-to-backs. Nick Clark had a lot of close losses last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's interesting because if one of them starts like 0-2 or 0-3, then
Start the fire sale. It's going to be a fire sale.
I really want to see what happens if one of them starts out bad because I mean this is a big year for both of them.
I agree.
Well, what I'm nervous about is them sitting down watching the Sunday games like they always do, and Matvey just being like, "Oh well, this guy's no good. You ought to just give him to me for a piece of lint in your pocket. Just give him to me." Yeah.
A piece of lint in his pocket. Where'd you get that one from?
From my boy Matvey.
All right. So, what matchup did we just ignore?
You talked me into yourself versus Billy. I like that one. I also had Matvey versus Nick Clark on my list, but then I also threw in myself versus Sterner. It's a rematch of last season's first round playoffs between me and Sterner. And then something interesting that I really looked into. Sterner has 7 players on Sunday at 1 o'clock. So he's going to come out. His score is going to look way lopsided because I have 7 players Sunday 4:25 or later. So it's interesting to me that he's going to be up, and then I'm going to have all these players coming up, and so it's going to be interesting to see unfold.
Oh, that's a good point. I do like that.
Yeah.
I mean, EJ and Catco I think is a good one. Right off the bat, between the 2 divisions, they won't face again until the playoffs, perhaps.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I don't. Who do you think's the favorite in that one, Jay? Do you feel good about your first week match?
I was looking at it and I felt pretty good, looking at it. He's starting Jay Cutler against Green Bay. He's gonna have to throw the ball a lot. That means a lot of interceptions. Devontae Freeman's in his starting lineup. I mean, I can't see Katko getting too excited about starting Devontae Freeman. And then he just picked up Heath Miller. I mean, Heath Miller's a starting tight end. He's been bugging me about Martellus Bennett, and it feels so good to just tell him no.
Good point. Little tight end heat going on.
Oh yeah. But,
All right.
Can I touch on something on top of that though?
Yeah, sure.
I cannot believe the projected points for ESPN for this week. The highest projected points this week is 132. Does that seem astronomically low compared to what we've scored in the past?
Yeah, I think it does.
Their projections are always way off.
I'm projected at 114.
Usually the projections are high though. So maybe I mean 132 is like the average of all the scores ever, pretty much. So it's weird that 130 is the high, pretty much. Yeah, that's very strange.
Especially in week 1, whenever everybody's players are going for him. It's not like it's a bye week, like a week 7 or a week 8, whenever 6 teams are on bye. It's week 1, everybody's playing.
That's a really good point. Look at Jay digging deep. Why I have to work now full time, so Jay's the one looking into all this great stuff here. That's why we have him on the show.
I like it, Jay.
Thank you.
All right, let's finish up our top threes. Unless you guys have a top 3 of your own to toss in here, but
Nah.
top 3 storylines heading into the season, and we already touched on my favorite. Is Billy a giant dumbass? I mean, could it get any better than if I knock Billy out of the playoffs?
Oh, that would be so funny.
He would never live it down.
So funny. Nope.
Never would live it down. Also, this isn't in my... I didn't really make a top 3 because I was fiddling with my computer trying to get it to work. But a tangent to that is Badger and me are really stepping the rivalry up this season. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully we can debut our rivalry trophy quite soon. I'm waiting
for it, yeah.
I'm waiting on some very special items to arrive today. All right, Badger, what do you got?
I mean, my first one, can JD continue his dominance? I mean, that's the top storyline. Can anybody knock him off? Maybe he doesn't even make the playoffs. I mean, I just want some kind of failure for JD this season. I don't want to see him have any more success. And I think it needs to be a collective effort of the league to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, look at you rallying the troops.
Yeah.
You know what I thought of the other day?
What?
I just, for whatever, maybe this was a dream or maybe I just randomly thought of it, but I just pictured you creating a group me designed to screw me over.
That's a good idea. I should do that.
Since everybody was on it for the league, I figured you just would make another room, like this screw JD over room.
Oh, that's funny.
But you know what? It wouldn't work.
I know. No, it never would. I know.
All right. What do you got, Jay? Anything?
My number 2 storyline that you guys have already talked about. My number 1. My number 2 would be, can Matt Bear and Nick dig out of the hole? I mean, this is year 5. They're in the Cupcake Factory. One of them has to do something this year. Please do something this year. We
I like that, Jay.
The same year, and I've already made the playoffs more than both of you combined. Please.
I like that a lot. That's a good one.
Yep. What do you got, Bajam?
I also have, is Sterner a one-hit wonder? Was a beginner's luck last year? Can he make it back to the postseason? Made it in his rookie year, had some success. Does he let it get to his head? Does he come back again and prove us that, it just wasn't luck?
Yeah, I don't think that's one of the top 3, but I would add Catco to that same question.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
And for whatever reason, Polino's first year in the league, I think, is when he had 3 great quarterbacks. and we all thought he was just going to be a dominant manager for the time, which he kind of was.
Yeah.
He had as good a stretch as anyone in the league after myself. And this really feels like his kind of resurgence year, like his renaissance. He's coming back. And even if this is the last time we ever see greatness from Polino, kind of like Brett Favre's swan song, I kind of do. I guess I'm moving him back into the category of top 3 people I'm rooting for because
Yeah, you are.
I would just love to see a dominant Polino season. If I can't win, I kind of want Polino to go out there and just throw it down on everybody. That would be a great storyline.
Well, here's my question for you. I think I can agree that we all think Polino's going to be, the #1 seed in that division. I think we can agree to see that. Who do you guys think is going to be number 2?
Well, didn't you watch the last talk show?
I did, but I can't remember to save my life.
You know it's Ed. I can't either. I think, geez, who did I pick? Did I pick Jeff?
I think I might have picked Nick Clark, to be honest.
I think he was my disappointment. And then Catco maybe was my dark horse. And so Jeff was my
Number 2.
playoff pick.
Yeah, I think Catco might have been my second, and Nick Clark was my dark horse. I think I had those mixed up.
Would you guys want to make a wager on this?
Well, throw it out.
If you're going to take Catco, Bash, and you're going to take Jeff, I'll take Matvey.
Ooh. Let me survey the scene.
I just have faith. I've seen Matvey have success before. He can't go 5 years. I mean, granted, I want to beat the heck out of him week 13, but I hope by that point he's already guaranteed himself a playoff spot, and I can knock him down a seed or something like that, just so I can face him in week 14, and then I can beat him week 14 too.
All right, so if Basham takes Catco, I take Jeff, and you take Matvey for a playoff spot.
And however much you want to bet, if Nick Clark makes it, then it just goes into the pot for whoever wins the league.
Well, we could just keep a running tally. Yeah, it could be a wash. I mean, we can just have our bet board on the talk show here.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be ballsy bets. It could just be, gentlemen's wagers. I would do that. I feel good about Jeff's team the more I look at it.
I'm down.
You in?
I'm in.
All right, so if one team makes playoffs, the other 2 owe them how much? $5?
Yeah, $5.
That's good.
Okay, and then if 2 teams make playoffs, like if say Jeff and Catco both made playoffs, then Jay would owe each of us $5.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so virtual shake on that. And the more important question here is this, Basham, this one's directed towards you.
Okay.
I mean, it's directed towards Jay, but I'm asking you.
Okay.
An olive branch from Jay to Matvey? Is that what this secretly is?
I feel like it is. It's like a cry for help. It's like a teenage girl contemplating suicide, and she's posting on her Facebook weird things, videos and stuff.
Wow, I don't know what that means at all.
Or maybe I'm just getting in his head.
Yeah.
That's not the way I was going in the least, but I don't know. I like the prediction from Jay, though. But, yeah, the Cupcake Factory is almost more interesting than the Gauntlet.
That's a bold statement.
I mean, it's as wide open as the Gauntlet just because everyone's...
So bad.
I don't want to say so bad because they could end up being just as good, if not better. But, I mean, there's not the pedigree, you know?
Yeah.
All right. I think we really covered the storylines. And we even got in a ballsy bet, which I was worried we wouldn't get to because I didn't have to make one. Basham's a little scared this year. But One last thing. We have the BHL hot seat, like Badgerman and I did last year, except he's the only one that prepared questions. So, I guess you're going to ask everybody.
Yeah.
Even yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you do me first,
Okay.
and then you can tell us your own answers.
All right.
And how about? Oh, I want to let everyone know that Badgerman beat me last year. I think it was 7-5 or 7-6.
Nice.
Your questions were harder than mine, like towards
Yeah.
the end. So, but yeah, no big deal.
But it's still kind of impressive.
I mean, that's the only thing you've ever beaten me at, pretty much.
I know, that's why I'm going to take it.
All right, I'm on the hot seat. I'll put the camera over here.
All right, this first one is my favorite one. All right, because I think that it's could go either way.
Okay.
Do Polino's starting quarterbacks produce more than 55 points this week combined?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
What are we doing?
So what's Jay's answer?
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm also saying yes.
See, me and Jay thought you were going all to one person at once.
No, I'm doing. So now Jay will answer first.
All right.
All right.
Well, wait a second. Why don't we raise the bar on that since we all said yes until we reach a tipping point?
So what do you want to do?
Well, would you say 60?
Okay, so do you think 60 then, JD?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to say no.
Okay, so now we're divided. That's better.
All right. All right, second one. Jay, you're going to answer first this time, then I'll go, then JD.
Okay.
All right. So does Jay's running back group, all right, finish top 3 in scoring week 1 in terms of just running back group? Will his running back group finish top 3 in running back scoring?
No.
Jay's?
Yeah.
All right, I have to go to his team.
I'm going to say no also.
Jay, what the hell is your team called? Oh, never mind. You don't have to say that.
Thank you for not making me say it.
I say no.
All right, I'll switch mine to yes then because I was right on the edge with that.
Okay. I don't know how, but whatever.
I like his running back trio. I do. I like it.
Yeah, but their matchups are... I mean, Lamar Miller's matchup's good, but...
Even Latavius Murray should be pretty decent.
His defense isn't terrible, but that's not a bad matchup. But Alfred Morris does not have a good matchup at all.
No.
I guess
All
there
right.
are a lot of weak running back groups. So
Yes. That was my thought process.
all right, sorry to elaborate too much.
It's okay. All right, I'm going to start this one off. All right. Badger's quarterbacks score in the top 5 of the league in week 1. Everybody thinks I have the crappiest quarterback group. I'm going to say I'm going to finish at least in the top 5. Yes.
No.
No.
Man, I'm the odd man out again.
Well, you kind of expected that one, right?
Yeah.
I did. That's why I threw it out there, because I feel like I'm going to get that one for sure.
I think you'll be close because they're going to both be high scoring.
Yeah,
So
my thoughts exactly.
I don't know. Still not a fan.
Okay. These next two are kind of going hand in hand. JD, you'll start it off.
Okay.
At least one team scores below 100 total points.
Yes.
No.
I'm going to say yes.
Someone's got to start the season off with their balls busted.
Yeah, I tried to look back previous years, and I think every year but one in the past 4 years, there's been at least one team below 100 points.
Nice.
And then number 5, the last question. At least one team scores above 160 points. Jay, you can start it off.
No.
I'm going to say yes.
No.
Okay. I have one more that was going to be like the tiebreaker that you said to make. Do you just want to do that one too?
Yeah, let's just do the tiebreaker. In
All
case
right.
you need it.
Yeah. Do one of the top 5 drafted wide receivers, so AB, ODB, Julio, Dez, Demarius, do one of those guys finish as the top scoring wide receiver this week?
That's not a tiebreaker, you jackass.
This is the tiebreaker. You got to say if one of them go. This is the 6th one. It's going to even out.
It's still a yes or no question.
Yeah,
You know,
well, that's what I'm looking for. Just shut up.
in the March
Just shut. I'm
Madness-
running this segment.
You know how in the March Madness,
I'm running the segment.
in the bracket.
I'm running the segment.
All right. Well, my answer is no.
Who do you think will be the highest scoring wide receiver?
Not one of them. I don't have a specific name in mind. There's so many choices.
My answer is no, and my top wide receiver is going to be Jordan Matthews.
That's
No.
a good one.
Juicy matchup, going to be an all-out, like, it's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to have to be. Chip Kelly's offense,
His offense that he likes to run the ball, and he has 2 running backs he's going to want to give the rock to.
Sam Bradford's going to come out slinging it, man. Slinging it.
I'm going to say that, yes, it's going to be one of those 5, and it's going to be Julio.
Why would Sam Bradford come out slinging it when they're worried about preserving him for the season. They're going to let him hand it off way more early in the year.
Slinging it.
Okay. I think you're just getting your hopes up. I hate to disappoint you, but... So, do we have anything good to end with, or was that an anticlimactic end of the show?
I mean, unless you have anything else.
What's on your mind, Jay? What did you really come on to say tonight?
Well, I'll be completely honest. The main thing I came on to say is something that I've reiterated multiple times via GroupMe. Alfred Blue is on the block. Come on, guys.
Oh, God. I'm
He's
gonna
gonna be
edit
there
the
for-
video. I'm gonna edit this so that part's just cut off. And
Talk about anticlimactic end. Jesus.
I know. I asked for something better, and Jay gave us something worse.
Come on. Come on.
Anyway, Badgem, what's really on your mind?
There's not a ton on my mind right now. I mean, I'm a little bit upset that everybody's doubting my team. I mean, it makes me upset, but then it gives me a little chip to put on my shoulder, and because I'm very confident in my team. I really do like my team. I don't care what you got to say about my quarterbacks. I really like my team. So, and I really think that I'm going to beat Sterner week 1. I think I'm going to come out hot. I'm ready. I'm ready for the challenge. I'm ready to prove some people wrong.
I really don't think you like your team.
I really do.
Is it like your favorite one you've ever had?
No, definitely not my favorite.
Well, it sucked. That's probably not a good thing.
I love Eli Manning this year.
Okay,
Flacco,
let's-
I'm nowhere near down upon as what everybody else is.
Let's dive into this.
Okay.
I drafted Eli Manning last year in the 6th round, and I got as the QB 17, and I got laughed at by every single person.
Okay.
And now Eli Manning is this great quarterback 1.
Wait, is this last year?
Yeah.
Am I living in 2014? Or is this 2014?
Well, what? Did you just suddenly watch Eli Manning when he's like 33 years old and finally realize he's good?
Listen, he's about to get a new deal done. All right? He's got Vereen coming out of the backfield now. He's going to get Cruz back. I love the weapons around him. His defense sucks. He's going to have to throw the ball. I like him this year. I do. I like him a lot.
I'm just more questioning your evaluation skills last season.
We always do. Everybody always does. I question my evaluation skills at times.
All right, and with Flacco, I think the problem isn't that we think he sucks, but it's that he's not going to be a consistent weekly factor for you.
I have said that as well. He's gonna win me weeks, and then some weeks he's gonna be mediocre, and I'm gonna accept that as a quarterback too, because I like the rest of my team.
And you know what? That's why your team's going to be mediocre, because that's what you accept.
That's
You
why I
accept-
need to make a move, and that's why I've said I need to make a move. I know that. I need to make a move.
Well, hey, since Jay's doing it, I'll throw it out there. I've got some juicy backup quarterbacks on my, and I would really love to open up a kicker spot and not have to drop anybody. So, you know, the prices on my guys are pretty cheap right now, and I'm definitely going to be working the phone lines until Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Never answer me.
Well, first of all, I don't know if I've made this. I should do it at the beginning of a talk show instead of the end. But I currently live somewhere with very little reception. So even when I do get a text, I try to send one back out. Doesn't work so well sometimes. So I think the group me is through like my Wi-Fi. So if you want to message me on there, that might be better. I don't know, like a private message on there. But
It's okay, Polino. We know you're not active anymore.
yeah, except the difference is I'm gonna still be victorious even with the inactivity. I think I'm. This might be a year for the ages coming for me. Just a real statement season.
Yeah.
But so anyway, nothing really is on my mind except I really want to go out and whoop on Billy this year so bad. Week 1, right away, he's gonna get a big taste of Aaron Rodgers, right down his throat.
See, I think it's going to be vice versa. I think you're going to get a big taste of Eddie Lacy coming down.
Oh.
He also has Randall Cobb, so he's effectively going to cancel out everything I do. But,
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so that's it for me. Thanks for jumping on, guys. We got to have a Season's Eve podcast, even though it wasn't the best prepared.
Yeah.
Wasn't the best planned. We started off with half an hour of technical difficulties, but from your favorite commish to you, I want to wish everyone a great season. Good luck.